latest around the wide world of tropics. Tropical Weather Bulletin for June 22nd. Around the world today, two tropical storms. Claudette has regained its status off the US East Coast and moving out towards open waters now, and Tropical Storm 6W, which made its closest pass to Guam in the last 24 hours. Day 173 of the year so far, we've had 34 storms. On day 22 of the Atlantic hurricane season, we are looking at Claudette, which is moving out there, a 10% chance in the main development region of the Atlantic, and a 40% chance which will initiate, or is initiating down there in the southwest Caribbean, but will only form probably in the eastern Pacific, and that's where that circle extends to. The area off the coast of Mexico could be seeing that tropical storm development, and a 20% chance further towards the west there as well. Either of these systems could threaten the coast of Mexico. 6W is the only system active in the western Pacific, which gave Guam a close pass in the last 12 hours or so, blowing up convection in the latest satellite imagery, so probably some heavy rain falling over the island. The storm will move off towards the northwest, and nothing active in the Indian Ocean right now. Fairly quiet here, as you would start to expect at this time of year. I don't think there's going to be any middle of the season or middle of the year surprises there. So looking at the North Atlantic satellite imagery, you can see Claudette towards the north of the imagery there. It doesn't look great on satellite, to be honest, but nonetheless, there it is, on the infrared at least. It probably looks better on the visible. A big flare up there in the Gulf of Mexico as well. That's not going to become anything. And then take a look further south, and you'll look at on this imagery as well. From GOES 17, already moving over Central America, that big bulk there, that will be that system that is currently at 40% in the Eastern Pacific for the next 5 days. Out at sea over there, massive pocket of dry air, so the East Pacific's best chance of formation is further east. So looking at the Western Pacific, 6W's been looking a little bit lackluster in those latest frames, but in the very recent imagery, which this I don't think covers, the convection has been blowing up a lot more impressively. So its status may have been in doubt a few hours ago, but now it looks like it is back to tropical storm strength if it ever lost it. This is the Indian Ocean, looking fairly quiet here, the usual monsoonal patterns on either side of the equator. Models are hinting at a potential little disturbance down there in the southern Indian Ocean that won't form, most likely, let's hope not. And this is the Western Pacific. You can see Guam there towards the northern part of the image, and that convection blowing up around the north and eastern side of the storm's center. Over the Philippines, some moisture there as well, particularly further west today. And let's home in on Claudette right now. You can see the visible true color imagery mixed in with radar there. Some interesting radar signatures moving along the eastern part of the United States behind the storm. But from the storm itself, Claudette, just a little bit of cloud cover there over the southeastern part of New England. But generally, it is all out at sea by now. And looking at the radar imagery, not that much in the way of heavy rainfall produced by the storm. So it's mainly going to be those winds, probably aided by its rather fast movement towards the northeast now. Sea surface temperatures in the eastern Pacific remain fairly warm, especially off the coast of Mexico, 30 degrees and higher. In the Gulf of California, way into that Gulf there, warm temperatures as well. Gulf of Mexico looking very decent, 30 degrees generally. That's 28 degrees generally, one tiny little bit of 30 off the coast of Texas. All of it is above 26. Gulf Stream looking good, around Cuba coastlines there, looking like a hot spot. Indian Ocean, obviously we're not looking at that very closely now, but still staying warm. South China Sea, you can see that there, particularly the Gulf of Tonkin, 30 degrees plus, and looking towards the Philippine Sea, very warm waters extending out. Where 6W is, it's looking like 30 degrees for about 2 days or so before the waters start to cool underneath it. And off Taiwan there, a rather Taiwan shaped 30 degree contour there as well, just off the east coast. And 26 extending up to Japan. Looking at the sea surface temperature anomalies, very anomalously warm up there in the East China Sea and off the coast of Japan really, but in the tropical Western Pacific only a little bit above average, and that it goes to below average in the Eastern Pacific there for the tropical zone, and then that little zone above average along the coast of Mexico where it's warm right now. Anyway, on this day, back in 2001, June 22nd, we had 3 cyclones active. Chebby was the main one. Category 2 would reach Category 3 at the very end of the day. Barbara, a tropical storm in the Eastern Pacific headed for Hawaii, and an unnamed subtropical storm in the Southwest Indian Ocean. It can happen at this time of year. Now, that one was a rather interesting one, which was moving towards the northeast and possibly had hurricane force winds, one of very few hurricane force subtropical storms. But of course its whole status is something that needs a lot more scrutinization. So here we are right now. The next name on the Atlantic naming list is Danny, followed by Elsa. In the Eastern Pacific, we're looking out now for Enrique, followed by Felicia. In the Central Pacific, the next name is Hone. In the Westpac, Champy is stubbornly not been named yet by the officials. It's waiting in the wings there, followed by Infa. In the North Indian Ocean, we're waiting for Gulab. And towards the southern hemisphere in the Southwest Indian Ocean, those names will start anew in just a couple of weeks. Paddy's next up in the Australian region, and in the South Pacific the next name is Cody. That's all for now. We'll have another tropical weather bulletin tomorrow night.